Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we'll be looking at the most infamous scandals that significantly reshape the public image of an artist.
His time in prison had clearly taken its toll.
We're excluding musicians who died under controversial circumstances like Marvin Gaye, as well as Tupac and the notorious B.I.G. DaBaby's homophobic remarks. For many, DaBaby's rise to the spotlight seemed to have come out of nowhere.
Back in the mail, it's gone. She like I smell cologne. Yeah, I just signed a deal, I'm on.
Following the release of his debut album in 2019, the rapper achieved back-to-back hit songs and once occupied the top 2 spots on the Billboard Hot 100. But then came the 2021 Rolling Loud Festival in Miami. During his set, DaBaby made a series of bizarre and offensive comments about LGBTQIA+ people, as well as those living with HIV/AIDS.
Partway through his show, he gets into a bit of a rant. He sort of makes jokes about people with HIV. He makes jokes about gay men.
A swift and genuine apology could have mitigated the damage, but instead the rapper initially doubled down on his comments and criticized those who called him out. Though he ultimately posted a short apology tweet, the incident painted DaBaby in an entirely different light and resulted in his removal from several music festival lineups.
Lollapalooza announcing his cancellation with this tweet.
Tory Lanez shoots Megan Thee Stallion. In 2020, the hip-hop community was rocked by a scandal involving 2 prominent stars. Rapper Megan Thee Stallion alleged that she was shot by Tory Lanez after leaving a house party on July 12th.
Is standing up over the window, shooting.
Following these claims, things unfolded pretty quickly on social media and in the rapper's music. Lanez vehemently denied shooting Megan and launched a smear campaign against her, framing her as a liar. Yet Megan stood firm. In October 2020, Lanez was indicted on criminal charges related to the incident. Despite his attempts to mislead the public, he was unable to convince a jury of his innocence. Lanez was ultimately convicted on 3 felony charges and sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Not only did the defendant do the heinous act of shooting her, he then subjected her to 2.5 years of hell.
Ryan Adams' disturbing behavior. To the rest of the world, Ryan Adams was a prolific singer-songwriter whose introspective lyrics earned him massive acclaim.
With everything changing, how am I to know?
However, to some of the women who knew him, he was allegedly a sexual predator and harasser. This dark side of Adams was revealed to the public in 2019 when the New York Times published accusations from 7 women, including his ex-wife Mandy Moore and singer-songwriter Phoebe Bridgers. They claimed that Adams exploited them under the guise of helping to advance their music careers.
Saying, quote, "His controlling behavior essentially did block my ability to make new connections in the industry during a very pivotal and potentially lucrative time."
Adams had planned to release 3 albums that year, but they were delayed in the wake of the article. Although he initially denied the allegations, Adams eventually owned up to them and apologized for his actions. Britney Spears' public meltdown. After being catapulted into superstardom with the release of her debut album, Britney Spears essentially grew up in the public eye.
How was I supposed to know?
Hence, when she experienced a breakdown in 2007 due to personal issues, it received extensive media coverage. News reports and front pages were dominated by images of the artist shaving her head and clashing with the paparazzi.
She never gave a clue or information to us that I don't appreciate you guys. Leave me the F alone.
What about when she said, "Leave me alone"?
Spears, who had been revered as a pop star and sex symbol, was now portrayed as teetering on the edge of a mental health crisis. Despite this, she managed to turn the tide and make an incredible career comeback. By the time she publicly fought and broke free of her conservatorship years later, she had solidified her status as a music icon.
Because of you, I honestly think you guys saved my life in a way. 100%. God bless you all.
CeeLo Green's outrageous tweets. CeeLo Green's public image took a hit in 2012 when he was accused of sexually assaulting a woman he had gone on a date with.
singer CeeLo Green, charged with slipping ecstasy to a woman he was apparently dining with in L.A. last year.
The victim, who had no memory of the actual incident, believed her drink had been spiked by the singer. In 2014, Green pleaded no contest to furnishing a controlled substance and received a 3-year probation sentence. However, what truly damaged his reputation were a series of tweets in which he asserted that the sexual assault claims are only valid if the victim is conscious. The backlash was swift and severe.
When it was coherent, it was incredibly offensive.
Green's reality TV show was canceled, and he ended up deactivating his Twitter account. He later reactivated it to apologize for his offensive remarks. Metallica Sues Napster. The landmark case of Metallica versus Napster Inc. changed the dynamic between music and tech industries.
Whether we like it or not, Napster has changed everything, and the record companies are sadly behind the curve.
It also had an impact on Metallica's image. For context, Napster was a peer-to-peer file sharing app that enabled the distribution of MP3 files online.
It became clear that the computer was going to be the place that we would store our music.
This meant that copyrighted songs were basically shared for free among users, which was illegal. Metallica dragged Napster to court after tracing the leak of a demo track to the app. They ultimately won the case, which forced the company to shut down. However, Metallica's decision to contend with Napster, which was beloved by millions of fans, led to accusations of greed and claims that they were hampering easy access to music. Some have argued that such distribution would have eventually boosted sales.
Look, there's Lars now sitting by his pool.
What's the matter with him?
This month he was hoping to have a gold-plated Shark Tank bar installed right next to the pool, but thanks to people downloading his music for free, he must now wait a few months before he can afford it.
Ashley Simpson's lip-sync failed. Anything can happen on live TV. And when rising star Ashley Simpson appeared as a musical guest on Saturday Night Live in 2004, it certainly did.
Once again, Ashley Simpson.
Simpson's first performance of her hit single Pieces of Me went smoothly, but things took an unexpected turn during her second set.
On a Monday, I'm waiting.
As she began, the vocal track for Pieces of Me unexpectedly played again, an indication that she had lip-synced the first song. Then, to add to the awkwardness, Simpson broke into an impromptu hoedown before abruptly leaving the stage. She later attributed the incident to her band and health issues, but it was clear that her reputation was already tarnished before she had even gotten the opportunity to establish one.
I feel so bad my band started playing the wrong song, and I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown.
Madonna's Like a Prayer music video. Few musicians have consistently pushed artistic boundaries like Madonna.
Life is a mystery.
In 1989, the pop star, who isn't exactly known for her family-friendly image, sparked a huge controversy with the music video for her song Like a Prayer. The clip featured provocative Catholic imagery that was criticized by various religious groups. The day before its release, the song had been used in a Pepsi commercial seen by approximately 250 million people worldwide. Due to the backlash, some of which even came from the Pope himself, Pepsi pulled the commercial and terminated their deal with Madonna. Through it all, Madonna maintained control of the situation and stood her ground, solidifying her image as an unwavering artist and a no-nonsense businesswoman. The Chicks call out George W. Bush. George W. Bush's decision to invade Iraq was polarizing, even in the United States. Among those opposed to the invasion were the Dixie Chicks, now known just as the Chicks. During a 2003 performance in London, lead vocalist Natalie Maines openly criticized Bush, expressing shame that the president hailed from Texas.
We're ashamed the president of the United States is from Texas.
Her remarks were deemed unpatriotic by the country music industry. Consequently, many fans boycotted the Chicks and radio stations stopped playing their music. Even within their own genre, they had become persona non grata.
The radio station set up these garbage cans for people to throw out their CDs.
The Chicks eventually made a comeback with their Grammy-winning 2006 album, Taking the Long Way, but it still received very little attention from U.S. country radio.
They say time heals everything.
Billy Squires' Rock Me Tonight music video. In the early 1980s, Billy Squire was an undeniable force in rock music with a string of high-charting singles to his name. However, at the peak of his career, Squire released a music video that proved disastrous.
Rockin' the night, I'm walking on air, gonna find me some trouble, gonna grab my share.
It was the video for his 1984 single, Rock Me Tonight, which depicted Squire wearing a pink outfit and dancing suggestively in a pastel-colored room. This marked a stark departure from his previously gritty rock persona and alienated his core fan base. Even Squire himself was reportedly shocked when he watched the final cut of the clip. One of his managers tried to block its release, but a label executive overruled the decision. Squire's sales rapidly declined afterwards, causing his career to ultimately fizzle out. Kanye West's anti-Semitic remarks. Kanye West's outspoken nature and mental health issues have landed him in hot water several times, significantly altering his public image along the way.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
When he publicly criticized George W. Bush's response to Hurricane Katrina, he was viewed by conservatives as disrespectful and by some liberals as a fearless advocate. The tables would completely flip years later when West threw his support behind Donald Trump and even visited him at the White House.
When I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman.
However, the arguably most damaging blow to his reputation came in 2022, when the rapper put out a series of anti-Semitic tweets. For many, West had really crossed the line this time.
John Legend, a former friend of Ye's, called him out without naming names, tweeting, quote, "Weird how all these free, independent thinkers always land at the same old anti-blackness and anti-Semitism."
He was widely condemned by both conservatives and liberals and lost several endorsements and business partnerships. Millie Vanelli's Lipsync scandal. This German music duo burst onto the global music stage in the late 1980s and quickly became a phenomenon. With 3 #1 singles and a Grammy Award for Best New Artist, Milli Vanilli seemed destined for greatness. But it all came crashing down when it was revealed that the duo did not actually sing the songs on their album. This revelation shocked the media, left fans feeling betrayed, and triggered an outpouring of criticism directed at the music duo.
After that, I came down quicker than Milli Vanilli after the lip-sync scandal.
Consequently, their Grammy Award was revoked, and not only were they dropped from their record label, but their album was expunged from its catalog.
You have to lip-sync in front of 500 million people.
It was a fall from grace that remains unparalleled to this day. Assault allegations against Marilyn Manson. The name Marilyn Manson has long been synonymous with controversy. For years, Manson faced criticism for his provocative lyrics and performances, and was even blamed for inspiring the Columbine High School tragedy. Things took a disturbing turn in 2021, when his former fiancée, actress Evan Rachel Wood, accused Manson of abusing her and exhibiting manipulative behavior during their relationship.
I mean, I don't think the world would have put him on such a pedestal if they really thought that his act was real.
This was followed by allegations from other women, some claiming they had been sexually assaulted by Manson. While his earlier controversies were somewhat expected given his shock rocker persona, this one was inexcusable. Manson maintains that the allegations are false, but in September 2023, he reached an out-of-court settlement with one of his accusers, days before a scheduled trial. Phil Spectre is convicted of murder. He was a musical genius who developed the innovative wall of sound production style and worked with several iconic artists in the 60s and 70s. But Phil Spectre had a dark side that many would not know about until 2003. That year, actress Lana Clarkson was found murdered in his mansion. The news sent shockwaves through Hollywood and far beyond, as the producer had lived a largely reclusive life in the prior decades. Spectre claimed he had nothing to do with Clarkson's death, as she had taken her own life. but he was ultimately convicted of her murder and sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. In 2021, he passed away from complications due to COVID-19.
His legacy will forever be that of a convicted murderer who happened to write songs.
Sinead O'Connor rips a picture of the Pope. Irish singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor captivated millions with her powerful voice.
I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant.
However, when she decided to use that voice as a tool of protest, it alienated many of her once devoted fans and essentially derailed her career. On October 3, 1992, O'Connor served as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live. During her second performance of the night, the singer held up a picture of Pope John Paul II and tore it to shreds.
Fight the real enemy.
This was done in protest of the Catholic Church's mishandling of sexual assault cases. O'Connor received immense backlash for this act and was permanently banned from NBC. However, public perception of O'Connor largely changed after the scandal in the church came to light. Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction. Despite her brother's unparalleled global success, Janet Jackson managed to step out of his shadow, establishing herself as a pop star in her own right. However, her phenomenal career and public image suffered a devastating blow due to the infamous wardrobe malfunction at the 2004 Super Bowl halftime show. While performing with Justin Timberlake, Jackson was accidentally exposed on live TV to approximately 150 million viewers. Though the incident was brief, it caused a massive public outcry, mainly directed at Jackson. Her songs and music videos were blacklisted, and she was disinvited from the Grammys that year. Once among the world's biggest pop stars, Jackson's subsequent music releases experienced diminished success in the aftermath of the incident.
We wanted to just look at it from today's perspective and put it under a microscope and look at the how and the why.
Chris Brown physically assaults Rihanna. Once a power couple in the music industry, Chris Brown and Rihanna's relationship went downhill as a result of this highly publicized incident.
I am strong. This happened to me. I didn't cause this.
On the night before the 2009 Grammy Awards, Brown physically assaulted Rihanna, leaving her with serious injuries. The widely circulated images of Rihanna's severely bruised face revealed the extent of the harm caused by Brown and left many horrified.
It's something that nobody wants anybody to know. So here I am, the whole world knowing.
Brown later turned himself into the police and pleaded guilty to felony assault, for which he was sentenced to 5 years probation. Despite subsequent efforts at redemption, the incident significantly impacted Brown's standing in the music industry and continues to cast a shadow over his career. Gary Glitter caught with inappropriate material. Gary Glitter was once a prominent glam rock star with multiple hit singles in the UK. However, his true nature unraveled in 1997 when he was caught with inappropriate material involving youth on his laptop. By the time he was released from a short prison sentence, Glitter's reputation in the UK was irreparably damaged.
I've served my time. I want to put it all behind me.
Consequently, he sought refuge in Spain, later moving between various countries while engaging in unlawful contact with minors. These activities led to his arrest in Vietnam. He was deported back to the UK in 2008 and added to the sex offenders register. With even more sex crime convictions since then, Glitter is now mostly recognized for one thing, and it's certainly not his music. Michael Jackson is accused of misconduct. Arguably the world's biggest pop star, Michael Jackson's reputation was significantly impacted by multiple controversies over the years. In 1993, he faced accusations of improper relations with a minor at his Neverland Ranch. Jackson eventually reached a hefty settlement with the boy's family. Then, in 2002, many were disappointed yet again when Jackson made headlines for dangerously dangling his young son off a balcony. However, that paled in comparison to the public reaction to living with Michael Jackson.
We need to bond again.
That's very important, Martin.
The 2003 documentary that led to the singer facing charges for crimes against minors. Despite being acquitted, the controversy cast Jackson in an entirely different light, creating a complex narrative that persists in discussions about his legacy.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
R. Kelly's long history of inappropriate behavior. Allegations of sexual impropriety with minors trailed R. Kelly for years. The singer reportedly even married Aaliyah when she was underage.
I'm not proud of that. I had papers forged for them.
In 2002, Kelly was arrested a few months after a video emerged, allegedly showing him engaging in unlawful contact with a minor. The legal battle dragged on until 2008 when he was acquitted after the alleged victim chose not to testify.
I think that Robert wasn't convicted because my niece and sister and brother-in-law didn't come forward.
Years later, the Me Too movement brought renewed attention to the allegations, with 2019 marking the year that Surviving R. Kelly started to air. The docuseries saw several of his reported victims detailing their experiences. Public opinion turned sharply against Kelly, and he was arrested and charged on multiple counts. Ultimately, Kelly was convicted of these charges and sentenced to a combined 31 years in prison.
This is a significant outcome for all victims of R. Kelly, and especially for the survivors who so bravely testified about the horrific and sadistic abuse they endured.
What other celebrities have faced a life-changing controversy? Let us know in the comments below.
The New York Times is reporting that music mogul Sean Combs, better known as Puff Daddy or Diddy, is now facing a lawsuit